welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow Season 10. I'm Sananda Jaiseelan. What are the big events which will change and shape entrepreneurship the way we know it? What is the role that technology is going to play, and how can more women be encouraged to come back into the workplace? All of that being discussed with our big guests of the month tonight on the show. Let me welcome them. Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, Executive Chairperson, Biocon Limited and Biocon Biologics. Ravi Venkatesan, Chairman, Global Energy Alliance for People and Planet. Ravi, we've been talking about your book, What the Heck Do I Do With My Life? And really why it is so crucial for entrepreneurs to look at some of the issues that you're discussing in the book, including adaptation, the role that intangible assets, amongst other things, has for them, technology, jobs, etc. We have a question that's coming into us from a member of our audience, someone who watches the Leaders of Tomorrow regularly. Debjot sending us this question. Go ahead, Debjot, what's your question?
Hi, I am Deepjot Singh Sethi, founder and partner at Wellborn Industries LLP. We're based out of Ludhiana. And my question today for Ravi Venkatesan is, as this show is based on the leaders of tomorrow, what is your take on the leadership in 21st century? What kind of leadership qualities, skills would you suggest the new age entrepreneurs should have to be able to succeed and flourish in the 21st century? I would love to have yours and Kiran's advice and tips on the same. Thank you.
First of all, I'm thrilled he's asking this question because I think leadership is the central issue of our times. And I devote a whole chapter in my book to that, Sananda and Kiran. So the point I make is our idea of leadership is completely needs reinvention. Okay. We are used to conflating leadership with title, position, power, formal authority, etc. So somebody is a president, somebody is a minister, somebody is, they're leaders. We call them leaders. Whereas in the 21st century, I think leadership is a verb, not a noun. It's an act. It is how you behave that distinguishes you as a leader or not. And I think this is very important, Sananda, because we are today just engulfed by problems and challenges at every level, at the planetary level, at the country level, in our organizations. And therefore, if we simply wait around for those with formal authority, power, title to go do something about it, it's not going to happen. What we need is many, many more people, including all of us, stepping up to these challenges. So for Deepjot and everybody else listening in, I'd say the most important idea is to recognize that, you have to be the change you wish to see in the world, as Bapuji said.
Ma'am, would you want to respond to that as well?
Ravi referred to something along, during his comments, which is very important. We have to focus on being uniquely human. And when you want to focus on being uniquely human, that is a part of leadership building as well. And empathetic leadership is going to be extremely important in the future. I think, the way you basically understand a problem, the way you take decisions based on the data that your team collectively basically generates, and the way you basically connect your team members is going to basically evolve you into a leadership role. So I think leadership is always going to be about who solves problems the best, who takes decisions, who can, run good teams, who can be fair. Because I think all those aspects of leadership are going to be extremely important to succeed. The authoritarian leadership kind of style is not going to work. Even today, when I look at some of the leaders within our own organization, I actually pick people who are, who are sort of multifaceted, who are empathetic, who are trusted by their teams. not necessarily somebody who's very authoritarian and runs a very disciplined team.
So let's come back to some of the core ideas that you've expressed in the book, Ravi, and you speak about why adaptation is so crucial in your book and the mindset of adaptation. In a time when everything is changing so much, why is having that sort of a mindset even more crucial, according to you, for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think Kiran's the right person. But yes, you see, everything that an entrepreneur does is fundamentally about adaptation. So you start with an idea, and job number one is what is called finding product market fit. So whatever it is you are creating, whether it's a service or a product, you're trying to figure out how it fits a particular need. That is the adaptation process. So the business genesis is around adaptation. And the ones who don't adapt die. So what did we see in COVID? Right? The numbers are far from robust, but some quarter of all businesses in India shut shop for good. They're dead. They weren't able to adapt. At the same time, you've seen some businesses grow exponentially. For instance, those that were able to, embrace digital channels, etc. So this is a very Darwinian process, survival of the fittest. And so this is the central sort of task in entrepreneurship. And one of the reasons why in my book, I say, you may or may not want to be an entrepreneur, but to succeed in this century, given the dynamic environment, everybody needs to be have this entrepreneurial quality of being able to, constantly adapt to a fast changing situation.
Kiran, this mindset of adaptation is something that you've had ever since you decided that this was the field that you want to look at. This is the area that you wanted to look at. My question to you is, how have you perhaps embraced this mindset in your company, in your business, in your personal life? What would you like to tell our entrepreneurs based on your personal experience?
Well, I think agility and adaptation are fundamental to basically entrepreneurship. You cannot exist without that. You cannot succeed without that, and you can't endure without that. As Ravi very rightly said, if you don't adapt, you are finished. You perish. So I think you've got to be agile. I mean, this pandemic itself has shown you that if you don't adapt, you obviously are left behind. So I think you need to make sure that you need to basically be very agile, and obviously to be a successful entrepreneur, adaptation and agility is about seizing opportunities ahead of what others see, right? So I've always been someone who's sort of spotted an idea before others. So if you're not agile and adaptive, then you are not going to seize those opportunities. You will always be a follower. So I think that, you need to be smart.
Ma'am, I love hearing your thoughts and your opinions as far as, the big picture issues are concerned. And this is a two-part question on jobs. One, do you think that we are in a good position as far as jobs and job creation is concerned? And also, I would love to get your thoughts on the economy. So that is the big trend that I want to speak about, the impact that we're seeing perhaps and likely to continue to see as far as the economy is concerned.
Well, I certainly think that jobs have changed. I think that the kind of jobs we are seeing today are flexi jobs. And I think there's a huge amount of job creation when it comes to that flexi job culture. And I think that's where I think a lot of the data is also being reflected. Apart from that, I think many industries are seeing a surge in jobs because of the nature of their jobs, nature of their businesses, which are also having to undergo change. For instance, I know that every sector is hiring in a way that was not anticipated. I know that in our own case, because of digital transformation, because of course, the whole healthcare and pharma and biopharma sector benefiting out of the pandemic, we have to accelerate, some of the business dimensions and business opportunities that we have ahead of us. Now, for instance, there is a huge spotlight on healthcare and improving healthcare and universal healthcare, especially in India. right?
Sure.
That's going to generate a large number of jobs.
Sure.
Another thing that the pandemic did for us was to really open our eyes to tourism in our country. Okay, I can tell you that the number of tourism, spots that have sort of suddenly sprouted during this pandemic is just mind-boggling. People now want to discover new areas. Nobody wants to just travel overseas. I know
Yeah.
many people wanting to go to the northeast or to Himachal or to even the forests in South India. I think people are now fascinated with our country, which was never there before. And you should see the number of resorts and tourist packages that have started up. So I
Yeah.
think things are changing. So the number of jobs that are opening up are very new jobs. And of course, this whole delivery
Sure.
industry that has opened up, online deliveries, whether it's food, whether it's retail, whether it's medical, pharmaceutical products. I
Mhm.
mean, you name it, that has developed, that has opened up a huge new ecosystem, creating new jobs.
I'm going to slip into a short break. On that note, we're back in just a moment. Welcome back. Our big icons of the month, two people who need absolutely no introduction, Kiran Mazumdar Shaw and Ravi Venkatesan. Here's a third question coming in from our viewer, Neeraj. Go ahead, Neeraj.
Hi, I'm Neeraj, co-founder A-Star Clothing, Ludhiana. So my question is, in a time where there is no guarantee for jobs, it is very important to inculcate in young people the mindset of job creators, not the instead of job seekers. So how it is possible to include this entrepreneurial mindset at a young age? Thank you.
No, I think the two are the same, actually, two sides of the same coin. Okay. See, first of all, I'm glad that the December jobs data is positive. But overall, I think this is perhaps the biggest challenge facing the country today, right? Because Kiran's rightly pointing out, oh, at the very high end for people, we need people with hot new skills. And she's already talked about it. And then there's a lot of gig work, gig jobs that are being created out here in terms of package delivery, food delivery, et cetera, et cetera. But all this doesn't account for much. See, India needs to create about needs to employ productively about 20 million people every year, right? 12 million of them are turning 18 and entering the workforce age. And then a bunch of folks want to come off farms into the industrial or service sector. So that's 20 million. Relative to that, I don't think the job creation is healthy at all. It's actually extremely worrying. And it's not just unemployment you have to look at. You have to look at the workforce participation rate, which has plummeted to about 45, 47% overall. And for women, as you pointed out earlier, it's about 22, 23%. What does that mean? More than half the people in the workforce age aren't even bothering to look for work, okay? And the crisis is particularly true if you have a higher education degree. Okay, so a young person with a higher education degree today is 6 times as likely to be unemployed as his or her friend who's illiterate. Why? Partly because the jobs are not aspirational and they prefer to wait it out, hoping for something to open up. And you see this happening every time there's some government job posted, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a huge issue. Now, the important thing to recognize is this is not going to get solved by traditional ways. Kiran pointed out hundreds of opportunities in tourism and healthcare delivery and doing remote work for people all over the world, etc. But who's going to create this? The core is entrepreneurship. So what we need, if we really want to see prosperity happening, job creation happening, is many more people creating enterprises of every sort. These are not just going to be tech enterprises, venture funded in Bangalore and Gurgaon, but mundane businesses all over the length and breadth of the country, which are serving some need and employing 5, 10, 20 people. And that's why this idea of how do we take this excellent entrepreneurial start that we have in our big cities and make it into a movement that spreads across the country is so important. The question that was asked, how do we convert job seekers to job creators, is the crux of it. And this is the work that my organization GAME is doing. So the most exciting piece of work is what Delhi government has been doing for 3 years, thanks to Manish Sisodia. We've been running the world's largest entrepreneurship curriculum, which is a compulsory subject from 9 to 12 standard. And all young people learn entrepreneurship experientially. And many of them have gone on now, 3 years later, to start small businesses, etc. So we need to figure out how to get everybody with an entrepreneurial mindset and many more, going after these opportunities. I think we have to get out of that jobs and job seeker mindset.
For someone who's watching today's interview, what areas, what sectors, where do you think those jobs are really going to come in from? What trends would you like to tell them about?
So I personally have always believed that because of our demographics, and we keep talking about demographic dividend, I think the big opportunity we have is really to create a very large consumer marketplace in India. I would actually like to even further emphasize the need for creating a digital marketplace, because I think a digital economy, a digital marketplace will create the kind of job opportunities and market interest from outside economies in a much bigger way. I'll give you an example. You look at just the mobile phone industry, right? We know that India turned out to be a huge mobile phone market for all mobile phone manufacturers. Similarly, if you can create the same kind of large size markets for anything and everything, I think then, if the opportunities just mushroom in a way that you can't imagine. But I think you need to free up a lot of the economy and the kind of obstacles that there are in the way. The kind of market, mechanisms that we have in India are very cumbersome. And I think the regulatory cholesterol that we have needs to be removed. So I think, these are some of the things that we really need to focus on. Today, I mean, we are still discussing as to why we cannot buy, pharmaceutical products online, right? The pandemic actually forced regulators to allow that. But they want to now get back to pre-pandemic regulatory measures, which I think is the wrong thing. So I'm just saying we keep restricting the market opportunities by bringing in regulations where you can't market certain things online. So I think we need to be much more pragmatic about what we're going to enable in the digital marketplace. So that's some of the things that I would like to look at in terms of creating the kind of opportunities. Because it's not just about the marketplace, it's about the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure, the support infrastructure that you need to run these digital marketplaces. It opens up so many multiplier opportunities. So that's where I think, and then of course, it's a marketplace that can be accessed by anybody and everybody. The physical marketplace doesn't allow you to do it, but a digital marketplace allows you to do it. So that's where I'm getting to in terms of what India needs to do to get to that $10 trillion economy. And we can do it fast.
All right. Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, Ravi Venkatesan, thank you so much for your time here on the show. Completely out of time on tonight's episode. If you have any feedback for us, do let us know. Our contact details coming up on your screens as we speak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.